Thanks to Sunday for sponsoring today's video. Hey, Matt, today I want to show you 5 tools under $30 that I think every woodworker should have. Let's go. If you're interested in any of the tools you see today, I'll put links in the description for you to go check them out for yourself. Number 1 on the list, every woodworker's favorite item is a clamp, but not just any clamp. This clamp has a very specific purpose because it has that band right there. Let me show you. So a few weeks back, I made a desk on this channel where I actually used these band clamps to hold on some trim while it dried. These are perfect if you don't want any type of hardware showing where you've attached something. In other words, you're just going to glue an edge trim piece on. These will hold that on there super secure. The grip on these, so the pads where these grip are super strong, so they're not going to slip off. The band that's used on there is a good strong rubber. It doesn't give really easily, but it also doesn't, it's not too stiff that it's not going to flex a little bit. You want that to be just right, so when you actually clamp something on there, it's holding pressure against the piece you're clamping it to, and that way that glue dries and gets a nice tight seam. I want you to see how much grip these things have. I can press in on that and put quite a bit of pressure. I can stretch it all the way to the end because it's gripped here and it's pushing pressure that way. One thing to note on the construction of them, it is a metal spring inside there, and the outside is a nice thick plastic. And then these are actually really grippy, these pads here. And then this rubber band that goes in there, you can see where it locks in there. It's not going to pop out, and then it has a lot of good strength on it. Another great thing are these self-adjusting jaws, so even if you go really wide and have to clamp something, these will adjust and fit parallel. And in case you're wondering, this is just a piece of paper that you can just easily take off. There's other uses for these as well. You can just use them to hold something temporarily in place, like a regular clamp. You can also use them to hold up electrical cords so you don't always trip over them. You can actually get 4 of these for less than $30. That's a huge deal. You're gonna find yourself using them all the time. Comment below, let me know what your favorite tool under $30 is. If I pick your tool for the next video, I'll give you a shout out. Next on the list is the FastCap track rack. And these are super convenient to have if you have a track saw or tracks for your router, whatever you need it to hang. These are specifically made to fit the tracks of most track saws. It'll fit the Wind track saw, it'll fit the Festool, it'll also fit the Craig, and I'm quite sure it'll fit the Makita, although I don't have a Makita track. On the garage door is where I chose to mount mine. It comes with mounting hardware to actually screw into studs if you wanted to hang them onto the wall, however you want to do that. I chose to put mine on the garage door because this is a place that I wasn't using for anything else, and these tracks and these little racks add very, very little weight, and so it's not going to affect the garage door at all. Basically, the way these work is you have a little groove that the track actually sets down in to hold the bottom of it in place, and then at the top there's a little cam that you just twist and it locks that track in. It's not going to go anywhere. You can raise the garage door up and it's not going to affect it. It's just going to hang there. There's nothing there to come loose. Installation into the garage door was really easy because it came with these sheet metal screws, self-tapping, self-drilling screws. Went right in there, no problem. Just be sure you don't screw through the garage door. Mine had these tubing style braces that go up the length of the door, so I didn't have any issues to worry about there. I've actually had this in here for probably 2 months now. The previous video you just saw of this, I actually recorded a little while back, and I had Craig tracks in there. I had Wind tracks that was using there. They work extremely well and they've held up well. That's what I was kind of waiting on. I made the video of me installing them, how they worked, and then I wanted to wait and see how they held up because they are plastic. And while they are plastic, I can highly recommend these. The only issue I have is when I raise the garage door, my tracks are up there. But I don't do that often because I'm blessed enough to have climate control in here. I highly recommend these if you need to store tracks out of the way. It also includes these little feet if you wanted to store them vertically instead of horizontally like me. You could just attach these and that would catch the bottom of the track. At the time I purchased them, they were like $27. They fluctuate 27 to 29, 30. Every great once in a while I go over 31, so just be aware of that. But they should be under 30 99% of the time. I've got 3 more awesome tools to show you, but before we do that, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, Sunday. I'm not a lawn guy, I'm a woodworker. I don't know anything about growing grass and making it look right, but that's where Sunday comes in. Sunday's a lawn care subscription service that provides everything you need for your lawn. It's a custom plan. They take soil, climate, and satellite data and combine that to create a custom plan just for your lawn. To get started, all you have to do is go to getsunday.com/731woodworks, input your address, and then from there it's going to build a custom plan just for your lawn. You'll also get a personal soil test that you'll take and send back, and then they can zero in exactly what nutrients your lawn's gonna need. And speaking of nutrients, everything comes pre-packaged. These nutrient packs, everything. You just hook it to your water hose and spray it. It takes 15 minutes max to spray a lawn my size. A few times a year, you're gonna get boxes that have nutrients that are gonna help your lawn look great all year long. What's great about Sunday is it ships directly to your door. You don't have to go pick anything out, and they send you just what you need, and it takes very minimal time to actually apply the product. It was extremely easy to set up, and now that I have a custom plan, my lawn's gonna be the best one on the block. If you wanna check it out, head over to getsunday.com/731woodwork. If you use the code WoodWorks20, you'll save 20% on your order. One of my favorite new tools I've gotten in the shop recently is a benchmark double square. Not just the 6-inch, but also the 4-inch. Both of these are under 30, just depends on what size you want. I'll show you both. They're exactly the same, one's small, one's not. A double square is extremely useful in the wood shop because you can square either way. It doesn't matter which way you turn it, you're gonna be able to use it. You can use it to set depths of bits and blades and all sorts of things. You can also use it to draw square lines, and that's one thing it has to be, is square, and both of these are perfectly square. In my mind, the Woodpeckers is one of the gold standards as far as accuracy goes, so I always compare everything in the shop to the Woodpeckers tools that I have in here, and as you can see, they're both perfectly square. It's not something to sneeze at because a lot of these lesser expensive type squares like this that slide, a lot of times there's too much play in there and they'll actually be out of square, but both of these are perfectly square. Not only that, but the rule is exactly accurate as well. You see I line up that benchmark rule at the 1-inch mark and it is perfectly aligned all the way down and there's no deviation in there. I mean, it's perfectly accurate. I checked this one as well. It's the exact same thing. It is also accurate. And you can take these apart and use this as a rule. So you could just basically have two tools in one. Easily goes back together as well. One thing I like about this benchmark double square is on this side there's 64ths of an inch. There's also 32nds of an inch. If you flip it over, you get the standard 1/8 and 1/16, which most of us use, but every now and then you do want that extra little bit of accuracy to dial stuff in. And the smaller 4-inch is the same way, 32nd, 64th, 1/8 and 1/16. This blade of the rule is made out of tempered metal. It's not gonna rust on you. It's just a good quality tool. It's a good thick rule, so it's not flexing, it's not bending. This is gonna hold up and last you a very long time. All of this is metal. This piece is metal. The screw piece that tightens and loosens is metal. It slides easily. Just a high quality tool for a low price. Do you have dreams and goals? I know I do. And one of those goals is to reach 500,000 subscribers by the end of this year. I wrote it on this goal board last year in a video, and I need your help with that. We're getting close to 300,000 right now at the time of this video. If you'll hit that subscribe button, that'll be one more closer, and I would greatly appreciate it. One of the best things you can have in the shop is an accurate rule. You'll use it all the time, and they're not that expensive, especially this one. Let me show you. If you watch the channel, you know I like my rules. Poloni pocket rules, I've got slide rules, I've got all kinds. The layout and measuring, the only thing that matters, honestly, is accuracy. And these are dead accurate every time, every one of their products. This rule is made in the USA. It's Incra and it's stainless steel, so it's not gonna rust. It's gonna last a very long time. This goes down to 32nds. It also has 1/16 markings all the way across. And if you'll notice, it has holes in it. Can you see that? Those are for your pencil. Unfortunately, my Pica pencil that I love so much won't actually work most of the time in those holes. It'll fit, but you have to get a really sharp lead. So I just picked up this old generic mechanical pencil. So if I was needing to lay something out, you can see every one of those dots right there is a hole. There's a mark there so you can get a pencil lead in there to make a mark. Every one of those slots is also a hole so you can make marks. So if I need to lay out accurate lines that need to be dead accurate every single time, we can use this to mark it 1-inch, 3-inch, 5-inch. Anywhere you want, you can just use those slots to make those marks. I've got tick marks all the way across there. Now I can take a square and square those up, and I know I've got accurate measurement. One thing I do wish is if it was marked on the back side as well. It's not, but it has tons of markings on the front. Truthfully, I was a little bit worried about how thin this thing was, that it would get damaged or I would break it or something. I've had it for several weeks now and I've used it quite a bit and it's held up well. Like the markings are holding up well. I actually like how thin it is because you can get your pencil right next to it and you're making the mark exactly where you need it. Not a whole lot to say about this little thing. It's just awesome. Go get one. I'm telling you, you'll love it. We started this list with clamps and we got to end it with clamps because I got some really awesome ones to show you. Actually, if you'll notice, the workbench is now dirty and a few minutes ago it wasn't on the video. What happened was I did a video on something else that was under $30, and then I got to making some charcuterie boards and started using these clamps, and I was like, these things are too good not to share. I'm a fan of Bessie clamps. I love their parallel clamps, but when it comes to F-style clamps, I have found no others better than Jorgensen. And that's really saying something because these are extremely affordable and they're just awesome. You see this Bessie clamp here. This is a 12-inch clamp, same size. The bar's thinner, the handle's thinner. It's just a lighter weight, and they're about the equal price. This Jorgensen brand, not only is it a sweet color orange, but it has a very nice grip on here. This thing is really nice and thick. The older I get, the harder it is to grip things and get your hands on these smaller things and actually get some torque on there, especially when you're putting on things like cauls or you just need that extra clamping pressure. This really helps because the bigger diameter gives you a little bit more torque. The quality of this handle, even comparing it to the Bessie parallel clamp, which is a much more expensive clamp, you can see that this has a nice handle on it. It really does. This one, in my opinion, is even better than that. I mean, it's just high quality. It feels quality. With most all F-style clamps, these pieces right here come off so easily. You'll likely lose those. You can also take these pieces off that cover this bottom part of the clamp if you wish. On the top part, I've taken some Plasti Dip. I made a video on how to do that. Really simple, and that actually gets it a rubber coating on the top of your F-clamps. And I always get asked what type of wood this is. This is leopard wood and Purple Heart, curly maple, walnut. This is a Harbor Freight brand clamp, and I've used these a few times, or several times actually, over the years. And the thing that gets me on these is they bend super easy. You can see this thing is really bent. Every time I go to tighten something down, this bends, and I hardly ever use these unless I'm just running out of clamps. This is thick enough that it's not gonna bend, not easily. I mean, you would have to, I don't know if you could put enough pressure on the clamp to make that bend. It's a really thick, robust clamp. There's not a whole lot I can tell you about an F-clamp. Most people have them. They work well for various applications, and these are some of the best I've used. Highly recommended from me. If you like these 5 tools under 30, you'll love these 5 tools under $30. Click that box to go watch it. If you click it, you get a big old virtual fist bump. Also, another one of my favorite 5 tools videos right there. And before you go, hit the subscribe button on your way out. You need to. I'm telling you, you're gonna love what we got coming.